Lesson 6, Preparedness. All right, we'll continue now to cover the non-financial or again, other elements I alluded to within the Goots model, all of which are very important. Why prepare? Well, let's explore the unfolding global transformation from government declassification and intelligence operations to the deeper spiritual war shaping our world. Corrupt systems are collapsing. Hidden truths are being exposed, and a new era rooted in freedom and faith is emerging. The conversation urges viewers to stay strong, discerning, and spiritually grounded amid the chaos, deception, and unprecedented change that's taking place, and some of the very difficult to digest things that are going to be shown to the American people and the world very soon. Disclosure. Retired Australia Special Forces Lieutenant Colonel Ricardo Bosi, whom I interview every other week on a broadcast called Bosi Briefs, every other Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we take a deep dive into the pivotal shifts that are happening globally. We make sense of the events that are occurring, well, really honestly, hour by hour at this point, but we recap it over the last week or so. The discussions begin with a crucial analysis of the cultural transformation underway, highlighted by figures like Bill Maher and Andrea Bocelli, crossing political aisles, and delves into how this special proof is a masterful strategy to redirect society. What we're talking about here is these are folks, in Hollywood, in music, in entertainment, in sports that are on the left of issues, which is okay if they're on the left. But the point I'm making is they're coming across now. Andrea Bocelli sang for the president in the Oval Office, not worried about the vicious attacks. Things are changing. Bill Maher speaks very highly of President Trump, while he didn't vote for him and disagrees with some of the policies. So we see a social change taking place. It's important. You'll see this happening a lot more as time goes by. It's a masterful strategy to redirect society. The conversation then peels back the layers on major headlines, revealing the deeper narratives, like the Rare Earth Minerals Treaty between the U.S. and Australia as a strategic strike against Chinese and British global dominance. The recent basketball, the NBA corruption scandal, and its ties to global mafia syndicates, exposing them as mere frontline thuggery for higher powers like the Vatican and DC elites. We see the exposure of DARPA's role in chemtrails and geoengineering, official now, as confirmed by RFK Jr. And he nailed it right there, marking a watershed moment in acknowledging atmospheric warfare. Boy, it's funny. Many of the conspiracy theories of yesterday have proven to be the conspiracy facts and realities of today. The existence of Project Omega, Snow White, a rumored system of 7 CIA supercomputers controlling global data, and the profound moral questions about its use and dismantling. Then there's the $21 trillion heist, which has been funding a secret, sustainable, underground civilization for the global elites. Yes, people have come to learn about the underground tunnels used for sex trafficking and human trafficking and other horrific things. But the $21 trillion heist is funding a secret, sustainable underground civilization for the global elite. This, in part, was reported by Catherine Austin Fitts. Entire cities. The symbolic and practical reason behind the White House renovations and the deployment of U.S. Marshals. So a lot is happening. We're leading to preparedness. The global financial reset is happening right now. 500 National Guard troops are now in position in all 50 states, and of course certain states have up to 20,000, but every state now has 500 ready, and as well as Army Reserves. Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, Pete Hegseth, and Stephen Miller, and other cabinet members, and I believe their families, are now holed up or taking a shelter on military basis, President Trump is testing nuclear weapons. So, revolution disclosed. The military occupation is set in motion by President Trump's executive orders. The reality has been since November 5th, 2016. The explosive truth behind President Trump's inauguration, a military occupation that actually began in 2016 and continues to today. You can dive deep into the secret power of the judge advocate generals, the JAGs, the military tribunals, and the war for America's future. The old government is being dismantled. Military occupation. The reality, again, since November 5th, 2016. Let's be clear, the military occupation of the United States didn't begin on January 20th, 2017. It started earlier, on November 5th, the 5th of November, 2016, when the new military-driven regime's wheels were set in motion. Since that day, the country has been under the control of forces far beyond conventional government's reach, and it's still happening right under our noses. President Donald Trump didn't just inherit the president, he inherited the authority of a war powers president, a commander-in-chief backed fully by the military. Most Americans are oblivious to this fact, thanks to media complicity in keeping the truth hidden. But the signs are there for those who dare to look. Emergency executive orders, the blueprint for control. Under President Trump, 11 emergency executive orders were enacted, each a step towards consolidating power and extending military control over the corrupt government. These executive orders, still in effect today, were not mere policies, but a blueprint for maintaining order in a nation on the brink. The puppet government. A nation under siege. The former administration was a facade, a puppet government, the autopen presidency, designed to maintain the illusion of democracy while real power lies within the military. It's a military operation. We're under a wartime command structure. Officially, since the election theft of 2020, you'll have to follow the executive orders. If you go to my website, jamesebroadcasting.com, go to resource guide and click on 1776, all the executive orders are there. The extent and the law of war manual updates. The extension of President Trump's emergency executive orders is proof. The old system is being dismantled. Those in power are being arrested for treason. The wake-up call. Accepting this new reality. The old system is dead, replaced by military control, for now. The sooner Americans accept this, the better they'll be prepared for the challenges that lie ahead, and they are extreme. The government you thought you knew is gone, replaced by a system prioritizing national security and military oversight. I'll also mention, for those of you that may not be familiar with Dr. Jan Halper Hayes, who serves on a Department of Defense military task force, has been reporting with many other individuals. Quite frankly, I reported it many years ago at American Media Periscope, but now that we have people of that caliber confirming it, it's sticking. And that is, of course, that the 1871 U.S. corporation has been dissolved. That's another reason this is a new government. We are restoring our constitutional republic. If you follow my programming, it's all in there. President Trump's inauguration marked this new era's beginning, and every day since has been a further step into this reality. The old system is gone, and it's never coming back, and thank goodness for that. Right now, wartime command structure is a military operation, folks. The military is in charge. The hidden reality of President Trump's inauguration, again, a moment of military occupation. January 20th, 2017 wasn't just a peaceful transition of power. It was the formal start of a military occupation, a day when President Trump took command of a nation under siege. This was more than an inauguration. It was a clear signal that the military was now in control. The presence of military figures at the inauguration wasn't just ceremonial. It was a declaration of the new era of military justice and power. The world is on the brink of a catastrophic financial collapse. The global currency reset, also acronyms GCR, Nisara Jisara, and the quantum financial system are no longer whispers in the dark. Storm is here, and the elites are scrambling. It's the 11th hour for them. They're at the precipice. It's us or them. It's life or death. It's freedom or prison. The storm is here, and the elites again are scrambling to contain the fallout before the truth reaches you. They're losing the battle now. They're losing the information war as well. The Black Swan event is unfolding before our very eyes. The world's top economies are insolvent. The US, Canada, Europe, Japan, Israel, the UK, Taiwan, Australia, New Zealand cannot sustain their debt any longer. Major debt crisis unfolding. We talked about that earlier. The financial system is crumbling, and a monumental shift is coming that will change everything. But again, dark to light, that's a difficult transition. That's where we are, what I've identified earlier, the danger zone. So the Great Reset versus the People's Reset. They want you distracted while they rewrite the financial order behind closed doors. But here's the truth. The QFS is set to replace the corrupt banking system that has enslaved us for centuries. This system, to be gold-backed and fully decentralized, will eliminate the central banks and their criminal grip on global finance. The elites know they are running out of time. They need the crash to happen on their terms. They need you to be unprepared, but we see through their deception. Thus, this master class, which I hope you're gleaning some proactive information and steps that can be taken. The Emergency Alert System, or the EBS, Emergency Broadcast System, synonymous. During this chaos, the EBS is primed for activation, and sources indicate it is ready to go. The switch is ready. Why? Because when the markets implode, when the banks fail, when the truth about Nassar Agassar is finally revealed, the world will enter a new era of financial sovereignty. We are at the point of no return. The Federal Reserve, for all intents and purposes, is over. The IMF is scrambling. The fiat dollar is collapsing, and the fiat money system is burning to the ground. What will rise from these ashes? A fair, asset-backed system that restores power back to the people. I spoke with retired Lieutenant Colonel Tom Lennox a couple of weeks back on my GFR show, where Colonel Lennox raises the issue that he also served in the Department of Defense as a comptroller. He raised the issue that the financial collapse may follow the EBS. Juan O'Savin is on record stating we are yet to be confronted with the near-death experience, as he phrases it, for America. So, in my opinion, November, December, and January is the danger zone. You can visit wealthcoachuniversity.com, and there's a lot of good links and information and resources there for you. Eyes on Gitmo is another monthly broadcast that I host. This will be our third episode here in November at jmcbroadcasting.com, where I spoke with Juan O'Savin and retired Lieutenant Colonel Matt Meck in the last episode as they pulled back the curtain on the unprecedented legal and military operations that are now underway at Guantanamo Bay, on JAG ships in various ports, in airplanes in the sky, in Guam, and other disclosed and undisclosed locations 24/7. Remember, there's 500,000 to 900,000. You can go to pacer.gov, sealed indictments being unsealed. With President Trump's all over the world, with President Trump's activation of the PEADS, PEADS, the Presidential Emergency Action Documents, and the Insurrection Act, perhaps on the table, the stage is set for the largest judicial process ever in modern history. So that's a lot going on. The Gitmo Blueprint. It's a detailed walkthrough we discussed in the episode with Juan and Lieutenant Colonel Matt Meck. A detailed walkthrough of the expanded facilities at Guantanamo Bay, including a massive media center that's been built I'm told it's the size of a large university auditorium for global coverage. You hear General Flynn right now speaking about the importance of independent media. Well, they'll be very select and they'll be global and they will be covering the tribunals and other events straight from Gitmo. Tribunals versus civilian courts. Why the scale of alleged treason and crimes against humanity requires non-Article 3 military tribunals for swift justice. Now, this lesson is on preparedness. I'm spending all this time here because one might be wondering, well, what are we preparing for? So I'm setting the stage. The step-by-step process from suspension, we discussed the process of at Gitmo, from suspension of habeas corpus to arrests, transportation of individuals, and the streamlined tribunal proceedings explained by those with firsthand experience. You can check that broadcast out on my platform. The high-value targets. We spoke of the analysis of the impending cases against figures like the Obamas, Clintons, Bush, Fauci, Gates for crimes ranging from election fraud to the COVID racket. We discussed the Nuremberg panel, how the coming tribunals for crimes against humanity will mirror historical precedents, Germany, to hold the global cabal accountable. It's not speculation. It's definitely not conspiracy. This is a structural breakdown we discussed of the mechanism already in motion. The silent war, not so silent, and coming to an end. The era of public accountability has begun. Take a look at what you see happening now with indictments. Bolton, Pence, Brennan, Mueller, Comey, and more coming. We're at war and living through unprecedented biblical times. And although we are winning this war, the fat lady, as the expression goes, is not yet singing, as the expression goes. You may be familiar with that from Broadway. War is not yet over. In fact, in an episode I did called Intel and Insights with Juan O'Savin, titled Attacks on the Homeland, Disruptions and Destruction, dated June 20th, 2024, which can be found on my Rumble channel. I gave you the coordinates to get there. Juan lays out what we can expect approaching the near-death experience. By the way, I spoke with retired General Paul Vallely and Sheriff Richard Mack and many others who have great concerns, credible evidence of potential hits on our infrastructure, never mind the thuggery on the streets. We need a plan B. Many of us have heard of the 10 Days of Darkness. Certainly some of us within the MAGA movement that have followed Q. A plan B is wise. Better a little caution and a preparatory action than a great discomfort and regret. So what do? Stock up. Phase 1. Very simple. Don't need to be complicated. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Keep it simple, Sam. Here's a short list, certainly not all-inclusive, but it gets you pointed in the right direction. And it really depends upon your sentiment, your location, your budget, and many other criteria. And oftentimes not everyone agrees in the household on the events of the day. They'll have to come to some agreement soon. I presently reside and spend most of my time here in Thailand. But when I owned my home in Sarasota, Florida, and years back in Colorado, I was always prepared in Florida for hurricanes. And when they experimented on us with the toilet paper shortage, as you may recall, you remember you had to walk down the aisles in certain directions and looking for toilet paper and being rationed. That was an experiment, folks. In phase 1 of preparation, it can be as simple as this. Here it is. Buy a few plastic box containers that you often see at Office Depot and places like that. Then go to wherever it is that you buy your weekly groceries and look at the dates of expiration and stock up on canned food. Pasta, tuna fish, beans, bag of rice, canned fruits and juices, protein bars, nuts, seeds, and other items, oatmeal, cereal, etc. Things that have a long shelf life. May not be the healthiest of foods, but you'll have some food. Why is that? Well, because the warnings from these generals and these military experts and others are we're going to have some disruptions situationally for periods of time, some longer than others, some short, that it could be dangerous to get to the supermarket. Okay. ATMs won't be functioning, things of that nature. Prepare. The key is foods that require no refrigeration and have a long shelf life. Certainly water. I used to have 5-gallon plastic bottles in my garage, as well as a few cases of the 12-ounce plastic bottles in the kitchen cabinet. Don't forget toilet paper, toiletries, and stock up as much as the rigged pharmaceutical pharmacy business will allow on your medications. Flashlights, batteries, candles, lighters, a radio, etc. Some people stock up in phase one for a week, some for a month, some 3 months. It's up to you. And before anything expires, let's say that the storm comes and goes. Make America Great Again is here. We're safe. It's peaceful. It's prosperous. The war has come and gone. We're just cleaning up now. And you've left with all these goods. Keep them till before they expire, and then donate them to a soup kitchen to people that might need it. So it's not a waste. And again, it provides peace of mind, and you will be very happy to have these items should you need them. Then prepare with a new inventory with new expiration dates and stock up again just in case. Also, very, very important, in my opinion, have at least 1 month's expenses, operating expenses, held in cash at home. Keep a full tank of gas as often as you can. Some store properly, store safely, store gasoline in their garage and so forth. Phase two on the stock up. Some people say we're way beyond that. Well, good. Phase two is a little bit more aggressive and protective. Perhaps a bit of phase one and phase two works for you as well. But in phase two, you can consider, among other things, the following: firearms and lots of ammunition, gasoline properly stored, a generator, water purification systems, long-term food storage. They come in big plastic containers and bags, typically good for 20 years. Perhaps you can get 3 months worth or more. Solar generator, innovative heating and lighting, their basic survival needs, and survival seeds. I work with My Patriot Supply. There are many other suppliers out there. You can do your homework. You can access My Patriot Supply by visiting their website. You can go to my website and click on the link. But My Patriot Supply was founded by people with a passion for self-sufficiency and food independence. I always like to know who's behind the products. They not only understand the drive to practice emergency preparedness, but they are also active participants in the survivalist lifestyle. They believe that true freedom comes from attaining a certain level of self-reliance. Uncertain times, which we are in, require emergency preparedness, self-reliance, food independence. Okay, so now here's a brief history of My Patriot Supply as I excerpted from their website to share with you today, and here it is. Their story: when they launched My Patriot Supply at the beginning of 2008 as the first Patriot emergency supply company, or perhaps one of the first, they had no idea what was coming. Nobody did. Since then, cyber terrorism has become a reality. Natural disasters and man-made controlled weather modification weapons that were born out of DARPA, that RFK Jr. is now officially confirmed. These things weren't so readily understood or happening at the time. So again, we now have cyber terrorism, a reality, natural disasters, man-made disasters repeatedly struck, a worldwide pandemic shut down the country, supply chains were strained or broken, and worse may be coming. And this isn't fear, this is prepare. We've been consumed by increasing global military conflicts, and shortages are more commonplace. Who knows what the new twists of the future will bring? So for Patriot Supply, they say it doesn't matter. Since their first day, they've been on quest that's enabled them to help millions of families like yours to prepare to be self-reliant no matter what the future holds. It's how they've earned their place as the largest, most trusted preparedness supplier in America, which is why I'm bringing it to your attention. serving over 3 million families. They live by a motto, and it's this, quote, "It's not just food, it's freedom." So they believe it's every person's patriotic duty to achieve true freedom from our world's increasingly unreliable and fragile systems. The best way to do this is to invest in your personal liberty. Not governments or corporations. Don't rely on anyone to feed you and care for your family if and when things get disrupted. When they say food is freedom, they mean it. Food, water, solar generators, heirloom seeds, water filters, and survival supplies keep you secure, self-reliant, and able to face any challenge on your own terms. Don't take the risks, demand the best. Despite the difficult days we've all been through, they've kept their commitment to the public. Their emergency supplies have remained in stock. A lot of other companies run out of stock. Well, that's interesting. If they're preparedness companies, how prepared were they that they ran out of stock? All right, it can happen. I get it. But you want the best. Nobody wants second best. I recommend My Patriot Supply. Wherever you go, whatever you do in phase 1 or phase 2, it's time. It's time. And oftentimes they'll ship you your order in the same day or within 24 hours. So this on top of their 24-hour customer service, which is important, has earned them 91,000 verified 4 out of 5 5-star reviews. You can check them out, as I mentioned. The reviews are up on their website, My Patriot Supply. We know that, I know they'll be happy working with this company. But again, whoever you work with someone. But get to your grocery store for phase 1 for sure. It's very important. Stay alert, be prepared. Let everyone else take tomorrow for granted. You got to take steps for your survival and help your neighbors that maybe didn't take steps. You'll need them for things, they'll need you. So, by the way, Patriot Supply gives back. They're proud to donate a portion of their proceeds to National Disaster Relief through Mercury One, Team Rubicon, and Operation Barbecue Relief. They packed a semi-trailer full of 32 pallets of emergency food water pouches and water filters valued at $362,000 for Hurricane Helene relief in North Carolina. Many, many other projects and things they have done helping those in need. Get out of Dodge. This is another level. So you have phase 1, stock up from the grocery and the pharmacy. Phase 2, go to My Patriot Supply type suppliers. Phase 3, more aggressive. Get out of town. Get out of Dodge. America, at the time of this recording, is under attack from within and from without. Some cities may become, for a period of time, quite dangerous. While most of us may not have the means, it may be wise for those that can to have a mapped out exit strategy, a get and go bag, important documents, and an old school map in case cell phones aren't working. And to that point, there are satellite phones that are on different systems. But important documents you want, like your passport, ID, food, knife, gun, ammunition, cash. Relocate to a different state or a town that's safer. Some may even leave the country, and I know people that have done that for a bit and then return. Be sure to have your passport. So in summary, not out of fear, but out of wise and caution, you got to protect your existence. You got to protect your life. You got to protect your family. You got to protect your neighbors and your loved ones. So prepare. Hope and pray for the best, but plan for the worst. So the key takeaway here is just that. Preparedness may prove to be essential. Prepare today for a potential event tomorrow. It'll be something you will never regret. See you in the next lesson.